This is the November 17th Health Advisory Committee meeting, and we'd like to welcome everybody. To start our meeting, we're going to start with the pledge. So I'm going to ask everybody to please stand. Thank you, Dr. Stratus. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. So, at this point in time, we need to approve our agenda. So, do I have a motion? Thank you, Dr. Pierce. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Colburn Smith. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, our agenda is approved. Miss Robin, do we have any public comments?
No, ma'am.
All right, moving on. Our next order of business is to approve the September 22nd committee meeting minutes. I don't get tongue tied, so we'll give everybody an opportunity to. Anybody want to offer any edits or have any questions?
Motion for approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Glaze. So, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right, wonderful. Our minutes are approved. And that brings us to our next item on our agenda is the survey data from teachers. So I'm gonna pass the torch to Miss Emily.
Sure. Okay, so in your folder you have, it looks like some some pie charts and bar graphs. So we sent out a survey to teachers asking some questions about their experiences so far. The questions, I think there were 14 in total. And so the results were put together. Ms. McKenzie helped put them together. And so here is what we found. The first pie chart that says to ensure the context of teaching meets district expectations, we had 80% of the teachers reported that they did have a place in the building to use a classroom. We had one school had limited space and the teachers were using the gym for health instruction. That posed some concerns, to which Ms. McKenzie and I have reached out to that particular school and we are working with them about making sure that they have a classroom to use. So that was very helpful in getting that information so that we could help that along. The next point, teachers were asked if they felt adequately prepared. 80% felt that they did feel prepared. And 20% said that they needed additional resources to manage. It was student engagement, but there were a lot of different things that they shared that were troubleshooting spots for me. And if I couldn't help facilitate, I'm using Ms. McKenzie. So there's that. Next question or next lump together information to ensure adequate instruction time is provided for health instructions. Teachers were asked to provide instructional minutes provided in their school master schedule. All teachers reported that they did have adequate instructional time. I will remind you that the rules from the State Department don't have minutes attached, so we do have some areas that we can work on as far as how frequently teachers are teaching, but that again, that's some instructional services, something that we can help facilitate.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Do you feel they had sufficient time to teach you the scope of the areas covered through HAC, in particular with reproductive?
Yes.
Thank you.
And those are the anchors that do have teeth in the rules and the laws, and so those are the ones that they find need to be addressed the most efficiently. So yes.
Shane, you said probably, and I didn't hear you. How many teachers were this?
This went out to all middle school PE
What,
teachers.
what,
I could give you,
I was
I
just
know we
gonna-
had 100% participation.
yeah,
Okay,
and I could pull up my email and tell you, if you ask me. No, it's more than that. I want to say
like
21.
okay.
Well, some schools have 3, and we have one school that has just a health teacher. I can give you that number though. I can look it up. Yeah. Okay, the next point on the back. To ensure content instruction is supported by adequate instructional materials, teachers were asked if they felt the current materials provided were adequate for instruction. This one had some variance. Some felt that 60% said that they did, and 40% said that they needed additional materials.
Could you give us an example of what they mean? Because that's the second time they've mentioned that, additional resources, additional materials. What is an example of that? I don't know.
Okay, so as it was passed and approved, they have the physical textbook, if
Right?
you remember.
Yes.
So they only have, the challenge in middle school is that there's one textbook and 3 grade levels.
Oh, okay, got it.
And it's required for each grade level. So their challenge is using the same material in repeat. And that's a challenge. It's a
Well,
challenge.
actually, I know.
Well, it came out in my class today because we started at Hilton Head Middle today. And one of my 8th grade kids was like, this is the same stuff we had last year. And I'm like, and today was the first day.
So somebody was paying attention last year.
Yeah.
They had an excellent teacher, I tell them.
One textbook for 3 grades, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Not only same textbook, but it's the same page number, the same assessment, the same vocabulary. So
So is that the nature of the book adoption cycle by the state? Because when I look at the listing, they don't give variances by grade level.
Well, that's not necessarily the state's fault. The resources nationally are not necessarily. It's been a long time since I've seen a curriculum break it down by 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. It's been probably 20+ years since I've seen a textbook.
So
that
if-
do that.
if the state
For
put the
help.
challenge of chunking out. In 6th grade, we're gonna cover STDs. In 7th grade, we're gonna do this. Then you would have some variance because by the time they left 8th grade, they will have seen all of it. But the way the rules read is
Everything is-
material, and then there's no other material, so.
Yeah.
Or the one set of it.
The only variance would be some of the ancillary materials are different by grade, but not every lesson is that way.
So let me go back and inquire to pick up also where Miss Cindy was going. Do we have the latitude to define what standards for which grade level? Or is there, I understand specific, it is reproductive health.
And I think,
Maybe that's an avenue to push back to the state though. If you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Right,
I
so
agree.
instead of incurring 100 and, if by the time you're down to 150,000 just for middle school, can we step the standards? So we're not having repetition and not providing teachers that classroom management is gonna happen. Or that pushes teachers to utilize material that is outside of the scope and puts them on a diving board into a pool with no water.
and I asked him specifically, Dr. Ben at the state level,
Uh-huh.
about material beyond the textbook and the state, they just won't touch that.
Well,
So
and he
it's
keeps
just
pushing
a
it down on our
challenge.
HAC.
When you say pushing back, help me
He said,
understand
he
that.
says, well, so he'll say, like when I spoke with him today, he said that, you know, it's not up to them, it's up to each district and their HAC.
So the HAC made a decision in order to do a step on curriculum, chunking it, we use the Morzano language, chunking by grade level, building students' knowledge in a progression. The only thing is in that progression where we have a summary, because what happens to a student who's new coming in at
Yeah.
8th grade, does that make sense what I mean? Right, because they should have some understanding of, especially reproductive health. I mean that with greatest respect. Are you saying that then would be left for the latitude of HAC? Can we can get that in writing? I won't go on a diving board without water, but if I can get it in writing, it is our water to navigate. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Well, should I bring up the online or should I finish this and then bring it up?
And I apologize.
No, because this is lead, you're leading
It's
into
a good place for you to insert that, so I would discuss that now.
So in the same vein of following up with teachers after the survey, I had a Zoom, so we learned, Karen and I have done some digging on the online textbook options because the teachers were very frustrated that the online textbook was taken away and didn't understand why, if there's nothing controversial in the textbook, why the online textbook? To which we responded that the HAC permitted the what was approved was only the physical textbook. But when you go in and see the online textbook, we were told first that the textbook company said it's all or nothing. You can either have all access or no access. To which we said there has to be a way to hide certain chapters or block them because the teachers who are teaching health should still have online resources for nutrition. Or there's a lot of other components to health beyond just this topic. So she got back to us and indeed there is a way to do it. But the burden,
Was on the teacher.
the burden falls on the teacher to monitor that.
To assign it to each individual teacher, or to each individual student.
So what they can do is roster it to your class, but you would have to go into that class and you would have to slide over on approved, 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 hidden, hidden, hidden.
You can't do a mass.
We cannot, but we spoke with tech. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for
When
it.
we spoke with tech,
Why
what
couldn't
they
we do a
said
mass?
is find out the teachers that are doing it and the time that they finish. Tech can go in behind them and do it. And check to see that it's done. They can't mass do it all unless they do it all. They
But
can't
tech
hide
would
those
work with
students.
you. So let's slow the conversation down so committee members understand.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is, in addition to having the text, having additional material, because we want to be able to go deeper. All right, dive deeper into two areas. That the electronic version, although we know that there are items that will,
That we have just not putting forward,
right,
yes.
we cannot go forward, subject to following what is by regulation. But there's material that would help deepen my lesson.
Yes. And the teacher would have to individually, we'll send it out to all, the teacher will have to individually go through and hide those units that we are not sending out. Our catch to that, not that we
But you
don't
can
trust our
categorize.
teachers to do that, but then they could turn around, tech would turn around on the back end and just ensure that it's been
But
done.
it means like I have 100 and
Yes.
something students on my roster right now. I would have to do that for every child, for every
You would,
unit.
you would set it up, but the risk or the burden would be, it's a Monday morning, you've got a class of 40, you have a brand new student, and you didn't think to click the buttons
Yeah,
to hide the material for that student, and now you've got a student with a fully loaded access to all the
So
things.
I'm hearing two things again. So can tech go ahead and roster that chapter 2468 is available only for teacher Mary? Now. So the teacher
it's an
still
all
have
or
to
nothing
roster.
with the book, the teacher has to do. So when we presented it, we did get with the teachers and we said, here's the work that it will entail for you. Is it worth it? And you know,
5 teachers said, it's worth it to me.
I would
I
do
feel
that.
that strongly about it.
All right, and how many were totally within the meeting?
We zoomed with every single middle school teacher.
So out of the 21, 5 said yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
the others,
17 or 16 said no.
they said too much risk, I'm not interested. And I said, I understand that, but that's why I wanted, I'm sorry. That's why I wanted to meet with them because, I wanted to hear what their voices were, like, what is your opinion to see if you had a strong opinion one way or the other, so. That,
It seems cumbersome, and I understand that for each individual teacher and why they would be hesitant. And the 5 probably just willing to go out on a limb and get the things that.
And
they think would
it's-
help them.
it's frustrating because as a PE and health teacher, you have 2 curriculums,
Yes.
2 set of state standards, you're one person.
Yes,
And there's a whole bunch of other things that are involved in health beyond sex ed.
yes.
But sex ed at this point is is sort of leading the ship. And it's like, this is 2 weeks of the whole class, and yet you took away all my resources for this one thing. And then I'm the sounding board of, I hear you, but so that was the need for the survey and the need for the responses because, you know, and I keep encouraging them to come and speak up, do a public comment. Please join Health Advisory Committee. Like, please come and be an advocate and speak up because that is the missing piece is that people want to hear from you because you are doing the work, you know? So the next best thing is a survey, but hearing the frustration from someone, I think might be helpful, you know?
What did the other
Constructively,
six-
but-
yeah, what did the other 16? do? Like, were they on the fence?
They-
Maybe?
They came to the meeting with the, oh, yes, and then when we explained it, it was, it's just not.
It was the responsibility behind it.
Oh, having to.
Yeah, that was-
Right,
You've
the
got
point.
Hunter out, and it's one more thing, right? Like it's another.
That's what, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that responsibility of time and effort was involved. And we did say that those 5 teachers who want it, we are willing to go through and double check behind them, and so is Tech.
and you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, that Zoom included high school. It was high school and
Yeah,
middle
high school
school
was on
because of the 5,
Yeah,
one was a high
the
school
email had
teacher,
33 people on it.
one was a high school teacher.
Stats that works, I say in high school. However, it has to be a way to have a resolution to go deeper in knowledge with students. And we started this conversation on staggering
Right.
standards.
correct.
Mary, you have to speak up a little bit so they can hear
So
you.
what I was saying was, we have to figure some type of resolution, either with the state. In regards that the standards we haven't had a new adoption. We would like the opportunity to visit, maybe using the argument of staggering the standards. As such, the existing text is obsolete. Because I know fiscally it's not. Within the division, we
We
couldn't,
can't do it.
I couldn't.
And when we thought we couldn't use the online, I reached out to the other health textbook that is approved. I have a copy on my desk and it's pretty much the same.
Same.
Mhm. I was hopeful, but it's the Savas textbook.
Oh, the other one is the Good Heart Wilcox.
This is Savas like 2014.
Oh.
I went off and
Yeah.
it's a lateral move, you know, and to have to go through this committee again and all the research and all the digging, it's just, I don't know. So I'll read the last the 2 spots and then we can, if anybody has any questions. Okay. The teacher comments, so they felt, they said 100% are using the reproductive health letter, which is wonderful because that is a law. Primary challenges involved engaging students in content, which you're hearing that repeated thing. Request guidance on how to handle valid student questions. There's some concerns with sticking to what they're allowed to, you know, what's permitted, what's not permitted. And then they have students that ask questions and sometimes they don't know what to do with the questions or caught off guard. So struggling with what they're allowed to address or not address at all. And the last point was it can be difficult to schedule when the school has only one health teacher or it is limited in space. And I think that's just relevant. That's about health in general. Some scheduling in the building. And then the last one was district follow-up to ensure all health teachers have adequate classroom space, which Karen and I did address that. One school is at capacity without additional class space. And the gym is being utilized for health and PE. That's the same school and we've addressed it. We met with the state and the book company, which we already shared. And she did share that we do have the ability to, with the challenges that we just talked about, hide some of the material and use some of the material online. Provide follow-up training on materials and resource use. And we did meet with the principals to share. Karen has sent that out more than once. About asking for HAC for student involvement, teacher involvement, parent involvement. I mean, we've,
Even at board meeting.
and I share it in every Friday email, Health Advisory Committee, interest form, Health Advisory Committee, just trying to get people to advocate for themselves, but review any additional state adopted materials, supplemental materials, and maintain compliance. And yes, maintaining compliance is, no one wants to go backwards, so that's sort of the summary, so. We've come a long way, but there's still a lot of challenges. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna open it up to the committee. Are there any questions or things that you want to see further or something that you doesn't have answered?
On the chat, there's four, it says 4. Oh, yeah, see that. Sorry, I.
No, it's there. Constance says good evening to everyone.
Okay.
One is mine asking who's on the iPhone, and it's Wendy Cartledge, and the other two are the note takers.
Well, I don't want to add to the burden, but would it be helpful as we move forward to get some ideas from the teachers about the questions they didn't know how to address? Like, could they send in the questions and maybe we could talk about them and see what it is that's causing them
If you
challenge?
ask my honest opinion and you could fill into, I think that the questions that they don't know how to address are probably questions that aren't aligned with what they're allowed to say.
So
I
then,
don't think it's a confusion of how to address it. I think it's a hesitation in, I'm not allowed to.
So do they say that to the student? This is not material that can be discussed in class?
Those are some of the responses, yes. They just feel like they leave the students hanging, but again, you have to align with what.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and that's what I tell them, you know, so.
If they're being compliant,
Yes.
and a good no compliance means we're being.
well, the curriculum says that you should talk to a trusted adult. The challenge then would be, you know, we're considered as teachers a trusted adult, but I
Yes.
can't talk about.
Yeah.
You know, so I would have to refer to a guidance counselor or, you know, talk to your parents or a school nurse or whatever, yeah. So, all right. Anything else? Do we have anything else that we would like for them to find out for us or take it to the next step with, you know?
What are we doing with those that we're not comfortable with, 16, you know, basically? You know, what can we, how can we help them?
That is a question that I think and chew on all the time because it's just it's such a wide gamut of. I don't want it, you know, there's reasons behind not wanting or not. Everyone comes at it with a different approach. So you just try to meet them where they are and I try to honestly, transparently ask them, how can I help you? But I don't have the answers. I don't have a blanket answer.
They have a textbook, and they have the online.
And they have a teacher
They
textbook.
they have our, you know, what we provided, you know, as well. So
Right.
they should, you
Yeah.
know, and, so I would think that, you know, each teacher has a different situation and they're going to, use all of the material, the textbook, what's online, what we've provided. And they have that in their heads plus their own maturity and background. And then they, you know, have got to use their own judgment, you know, in terms of the maturity or what is quote unquote required, what our concerns were. And, you know, they're gonna have to use that to provide the required material. And I'm not sure what we as a committee can give them more than what we've done to help. But I'm willing to try if you, the teachers, have more
Well,
concerns.
speaking as one of the 16, that, and my issue wasn't so much as going in and individually doing it. My whole thing is I think our kids are on technology too much.
Sure.
And so I want them to, anyway, I think our challenge is not something that we can control, unfortunately. It comes down to the resource we have. And it's the resource we have. It's not the best or most efficient resource out there. And so, you know, and I'm sure at one time it was good, but it's very antiquated now. And that's the biggest problem. And then the opportunities to have more engaging lessons or do a hands-on activity, which I think most of us would rather do, becomes a challenge because I don't feel confident, or I know I can't stray from that. So I'm using a PowerPoint that's an old PowerPoint that's not engaging for students. And then I have handouts. which are not necessarily engaging for students. And so that's not how I teach. So that becomes a challenge,
May
but
I-
there's nothing I can do about it.
The information that the students are not obtaining. What are the ramifications? I'm trying to think of what something is and then what something's not. So we make a blanket regulation at a state level, saying one should not do X, Y, Z. What are the ramifications of students not having full knowledge and educating those who make these type of regulations in regards to what are the ramifications when a student doesn't learn about X, Y, Z? I'm just asking. I'm not in either. But does that make sense what I'm, you know, and by no means is it my background to the complexity of those of you who lead the committee. And that's why I'm just posturing that question, right? That if there was a way of addressing logically that if this is what we have to abide by, this is what we're not being able to provide, can we help push the pen to approve then the availability of updated materials? Does that make right?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna, I agree with you, and I think that's going to take getting the state on board with updating materials. We need to, there needs to be
You're picking
that,
up what I'm putting on the court.
that's,
Yes, the
Karen.
standards before the materials.
we need that. And that's the piece that is a little lagging behind, and if you look across the board, the state's behind on a couple areas.
Well, language would be a second. And
Third time.
And Dr. Ben
We're
shared
now
with us,
almost 20 years.
he's a one-man department on the state level, which shows, and these were his words, that shows the priority on the state's level, because he said, if you're in the math department, there's a whole parking lot of math. So, he is literally over all the things for the entire state. He is a one-man show.
And I can say, just coming back from the Scaford Conference, which is the Health and Physical Education Conference, I literally got back last night, was this past weekend. In several of the sessions, there were, one in particular, the university professors from about 4 or 5 different South Carolina universities that teach health and physical education. And it's a frustration for them too, because they're trying to advocate as well. There's a whole group of us that are like ready to see standards changed and updated and get better resources for our kids. Back to your question, I think historically, if you look at data of instances of teen pregnancy, STD rates, and you know, all those components that are involved in reproductive health that are captured when you go to a medical office in DHEC, which I know isn't DHEC anymore, but and show like when curriculum is being implemented versus when curriculum is not.
The spikes in data.
Right.
Right.
The fight to that is, you know, I teach about STDs, people go to the doctor and, oh, there's a spike in STDs because, you know, people are now educated and they know their signs and symptoms, and so they're going to the doctor. But over time, that should plateau and start to fall because now we have educated our students on, in our community on what to do.
And we should be looking at the data of remedy, not on the data of it,
Right,
right? It's the remedy that's actually the good thing.
right. So, but historically, because when I was in North Carolina, we went through a similar process, so.
Constance says, community engagement topic. It sounds like there's always going to be a gap in education role in this topic. Maybe we can lean on community to fill in the gap.
Not to come into school, she just means to use them as an outside resource, like refer kids for this, hey, there's a great.
But is that a slippery slope too? Are we now liable because I referred a student to XYZ? And
You don't prefer a school counselor does.
And there's growing pains because, I mean, before this committee really took it seriously, this was way in the red. So
Yes.
there's gonna be growing pains, and I've reminded a couple of teachers who were hired between the gap. Oh, we've never done this. We've never done this. You've never done this because you've only been here for this many years. We actually have been doing it. It just got in the wrong direction for a minute, and now it's back to where it is. So there's gonna be, you're gonna have to get some pattern and some some traction to make it.
Nicely said.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be a smooth transition, but we're moving in the right.
and that's why I don't take comments personally when they sometimes seem really
at this point.
really edgy, because it's like, I hear what you're saying, I empathize with you, but how can I help? You know, how can I make it better? What can I do?
Well, I don't know what we can do for them
I don't-
in the short run, but I mean, you know, we talked last year about the problems with the material and we're mentioning that again tonight, and we're acknowledging that there's a limit to what we can do about the material. It's up to the state to do that, but there's no reason why we can't, let the school board know and let the state know that, we believe that it's time to update material. It's not gonna happen like that, but at least it's got to start from somewhere. And so for us to let them know that that's something that needs to be done will help some. I still need to listen more as to what we can do in the short run, to help, but I'm not sure I
Well,
have an answer. for that.
Another thought that I had was, the district I came from, we took the state material, but we created our own packet of lessons for
all age
teachers.
groups.
Yeah,
Six
well,
to 12?
yes, mostly middle and high, because elementary was taught differently, but, that we could have a little hands-on activity to reinforce, because I would say also too, probably 90 to 95% of the lessons in this curriculum is like, character development and social health and friendships and peers, at least at the middle school level. Where I feel like there's a little bit more room to have that hands-on activity that's gonna give them that quick, oh, okay, I understand now what active listening is, or, oh, I understand now, what it means to show empathy. Versus it being, obviously, when you start getting into STDs and contraception and that sort of thing, it's a little bit different. But would that be something that we could do as a district to have a core of teachers, help
It's
create
called
something?
curriculum writing.
Yes.
Which
would.
but it have to be a through HEC.
Yes, so that's called curriculum writing. It
Yeah.
actually works for the coordinated services that Emily puts forward. And then from Emily's team of curriculum writers, it would come to the HAC for review of what is under the HAC purview. Right, so the feeling good type of lesson would not be HAC, right? Or the good touch would be HAC, if I put it into that
Right.
language, right? 100, so you can separate the two, and that means starting curriculum writing early enough. But I want to go back to the fact we need to identify the gaps that exist first. And that's where going back to what Ms. Cindy said, to ask the teachers the question of, hear from them, like, what is missing? What are the gaps? Work off of those questions first to develop. Right, we already have a footprint, we have a format, right? Framework design. What is missing from that framework? In order then to have curriculum writing, then bring that writing to the HAC for review. I think that, and does that make sense what I'm saying?
Who does the curriculum writing?
The magical work of teachers.
Okay,
Curriculum writing team is put together, assembly identifies it.
And we could add that style down. The areas that we were looking for, based on your great question about the gaps. We could add that on, these are the areas that we really want to make sure we have covered.
Yes,
We could add that to there, that would give us our check-in point.
but I still would not stop at not getting an awareness created
Oh, for sure.
to the state level
Oh,
of
that's-
what is,
number one.
what it is and what it's not, and what it's not is really hurting us.
It's hurting the whole state.
Well, I'm gonna plead ignorance because I don't know, but is there method of regular communication between this district and the State Department of Education?
Ms. Emily is who our state coordinator, is he a director or coordinator?
He's a coordinator,
He's a coordinator.
But I mean, to move it up beyond that, if he
There
has.
is one,
Okay,
there is one, but it's technically out of this room,
okay.
but there is one, it actually can go to a few places and go to our instructional roundtable,
Mhm.
which individuals as myself or directors of secondary education, where Karen represents us bi-monthly now almost.
Yeah.
And that can be brought forward as well to the instructional roundtables, the secondary roundtables. And then there are other avenues outside of our scope. But I will focus on what's in my lane. So we do have a highway.
So
Dr. Bennett, I talk often, I mean, he
I-
knows how I feel, and
I applaud that, but he seems to be
he feels like
he's
his hands are,
powerless.
his hands are
So
tied.
you need to find the power that you can
It's
impact.
not-
needs to go
So the chief of instructional, Abby, what is her last name? She's very good.
She's very good.
And I like her. She may be someone,
So what if we invited maybe somebody from the state board or our local legislator, isn't the lady who's the head of the education committee?
Shannon, there's-
Shannon, like, maybe, I mean, since we Zoom, would it be possible to have them maybe come to one of our meetings and say, and have that conversation?
I wouldn't get to that path until we get to a level that we're very definitive at practice.
Yeah,
Only because it
it opens up.
come back around
Yep.
into a whole different
Got
light.
it.
You have to know what it is and what it's not, and I mean that.
Yep.
With high respect. And what is the result of not teaching this? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Well, the potential result, because it's not definitive because we haven't measured it. You have to be very careful at that navigation.
And what if they hear what your first suggestion was to allow the scaffolding of some of it to where,
I think
that would be an amazing fix. That would
it
be,
would be, but now I have to align instructional materials.
I think we need to be very intentional about what we ask above us. If we're going to reach out to the state, I think we need to
How does we have a plan?
figure out what these gaps are, get it clean. And I think it should be in writing.
So the curriculum writing needs to be done first.
or
I think deeper inquiry first.
Yes.
the
I would
plan
say
of
that
attack
that's right,
needs to be
Popeye's.
refined, yeah, as to
Mhm.
what's the next best steps.
And again, I pitched that to you as the committee members, but that would be a recommendation.
And we'll do the curriculum writing either way. We do that every summer, but based on Dr. Stratus said, we just said we could move that up if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
So we'll move that up to very shortly and get started on that tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Well, I didn't mean to add to your workload, but I
No.
think the teachers would be excited to know that somebody's listening.
Always.
But, as a general rule, somebody's paying attention and we need some help here and
Always.
they're working on it and that's.
And always
It's very
appreciative when somebody comes back with a, hey, so I heard you say this, and this is what I'm trying to help you understand. I mean, that's the job of being the person that tries to bridge the two is you want to
And
help.
I know out of 46 counties, there are counties where this whole thing is probably not being addressed at all. So we are in the forefront by at least going through all of these efforts and then wanting to make it even better, make things more accessible for the teachers so they can continue their communication with the students.
So the fact that you had so many educators and it's representative of every school shows an interest in it in
Yes.
professionals.
Yes. And I can tell you from previous experience, it's been a minute, but the students want to know. They want to know what's going on. Because what they hear or read on their phones or whatever else, it's not always accurate. And it's better for them as they move forward in life to have facts.
And their teacher might be the only person that told them
Yes.
accurate information.
Yes.
Because they might not have an adult at home.
And I can tell you, many parents don't want to approach reproductive health.
Yes,
with
agree.
their children.
Not to this level.
No,
Or even the conversation of abuse.
yes,
All
All
because
the
some of
things
the
that were
feedback and I know, I
yeah,
won't reach too much. But has been very effective, the work that's been conducted by Kappa and students. It is,
Heartbreaking.
it is.
Heartbreaking.
It's moving mountains. It's really effective on a confidential spot, but it's been beneficial. Really beneficial.
Very. Great conversation.
I
Thank
believe
you.
that.
Mr. Smith would like to speak. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say I believe that is very true, and it's interesting because I've talked to some parents who said that they weren't even sure how to even start the conversation with the birds and the bees with their kids and different things like that. So we talk about something of this magnitude. I think that is very true. Some parents don't always know how or are even available to even sometimes to have those conversations. So this topic is very relevant. I'm gonna put that out there. Thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you.
Is that segue into the?
Yeah, well, no, almost. So underneath it says, and I don't know, we kind of just want to make sure we address it. The next thing under that is the program alignment and action steps. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, we kind of.
We discovered
Yeah,
that.
I just want to make sure that nobody else had anything else they needed to say.
And all that, and then bring it back.
So in order, I think increasing some more teacher input, Ms. McKinsey, to find out what are the areas that they'd like to go deeper in, what are some of the areas that are subject, to regulation that's negative impact
Right.
on student lives. I think that's important, so that can come to the table as well.
Okay.
And then look at a way to develop some curricula in that area,
Mhm.
and then also look at the option of breaking it up within 3 years,
Okay.
because that in itself will, the regulation doesn't say by minutes, as you all
So,
say.
yeah, we can
Right,
be in
so,
compliance with the content.
yes, ma'am. You
Yeah,
can
you
do
gotta
that.
change the content.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's 4 units instead of 6 units in 6th grade. Yes,
I like it.
with a review, there has to be that cumulative review as you start.
That actually is a really good way for us to look at it now. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, definitely want to start now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So I just want to ask this committee agree with that. I apologize. But
I'm getting my work orders.
Are you all in agreement
Yes,
with that
ma'am.
approach?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am?
All right, so, Miss Emily and I attended the South Carolina Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, also known as SCAFORD Conference, this past week in Myrtle Beach. And on this past Friday, we were presented with the Outstanding Contribution to Health Award for the HAC. So we have a very nice plaque that will get. But we also received certificates for all the HAC members. So
And if you wanted a program, we
we
took
went
it up
around
off
and
the
snagged
table. Sure.
programs at the end of the night, make sure we had enough.
here's here. I know you two are down there.
Oh, here we go.
I can pass those down.
So thank you all again. I mean, I think today's conversation was just another thank you. Just
Thank you.
exemplary reason why you guys were recognized for this award, just your thoughtfulness and your hard work and dedication, and in a volunteer position, month after month, and the hours that you guys have put into it. Are we gonna show the, I did do a video from my phone, but.
Well, you could just, if you submitted it, can you want to just read she repeated back what?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
let's see, give me a second to pull it up. We can think about that.
You say it says something when this
It's
committee
significant.
has not been working for many years, but for a short time. For the work to be recognized at a state level says something, and it Might go back to the comment you made a minute ago, is how many other districts are struggling with this? And I think now we can say that we're kind of like ahead of that pack, thanks to all of y'all's work.
So. Pass this down.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Huge.
what a wonder- so, the bio that I wrote was the Beaufort County School District Health Advisory Committee is a volunteer group of dedicated community members that continues to pour into BCSD with their expertise and giving of their time. Over the past year, the committee has gone above and beyond, exceeding the number of required meetings by almost triple as they worked through the review of health education materials involving reproductive health curriculum. This includes reviewing 2 entire textbooks totaling over 1,200 pages of text, 40 PowerPoint presentations, and 89 ancillary resources. Additionally, they reviewed programs and materials for Aaron's Law and Gavin's Law. Their review was presented to the Beaufort County School District Academic Committee and ultimately the full Beaufort County School District School Board. Each committee member dedicated many hours over and above what was required in an effort to not only be in compliance with the state, but also equip the district's teachers and schools with curriculum appropriate for all students. Consequently, their efforts and commitment to Beaufort County School District has made a significant impact on every student and health education teacher in the district, from training teachers and other school personnel to lessons being taught in all schools.
And if you told us all those pages before we started.
It was nothing.
And detailed feedback.
Okay.
It wasn't her sharing.
Oh, yeah.
The feedback was very detailed.
Yes,
Down to
yeah.
page, sentence, paragraph, they all look phenomenal. Beautiful.
And when I went over in the corner and I had all this in front of me, my wife came in and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "My homework."
Just stay away in their schools, they do work.
Send back with the pictures. and see if-
William,
I'll just share it with you.
Okay. Got a comment?
William has his hand raised.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready for me to speak? Or?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, can we bring this to before the full board because under academics or something because you all definitely should be should be publicly appreciated and the public should know about this. Is definitely something good and appreciative, and you all should be publicly acknowledged about this. And I saying y'all was acknowledged someplace else, but upon the full board, I think is what this deserves.
Well, Mr. Smith, I'll speak on the perspective from ISD. That would have to happen through your agenda setting, if you can make that recommendation, board member. I cannot, but it can, and I can make a recommendation to communications for a point of celebration from that perspective. Or through the superintendent, I could ask Dr. Rodriguez on a superintendent announcement. So those are options that I could look into 2 out of the 3 of them.
Well, got you. I got you. But I figured I thought that maybe some of the I wasn't sure. I was thinking maybe some of the academics committee members could possibly bring this forward and well make an announcement to the board because being that they fall under academics. I was wondering could they under the academic update. Could this be something that I was presented? But yeah, it was more. I thought, and it was more of that, Mrs. Doctor. Hold on. Stratos.
It's an excellent where you're going. There is an academic committee being conducted on Thursday. Agenda. I could ask for a moment for announcement, and then that could be part of our announcement. Now, Ms. McKinsey will bring this forward, the award to academic committee on Thursday. I'll be available electronically, and
Absolutely.
is that okay?
Yes.
That's an excellent recommendation, and
And I've already.
so thank you.
And I'm sending the pictures if you want to use them, so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. So maybe you could show the video at that time. I believe there was a video that you all had.
Well, it's just what Amy just said, and they use that, so I'll just forward you the,
If you will forward it to me.
And I can get to send it to Mrs. Cushenberry.
Yeah,
I'll send it to both of you.
Okay, thank you.
I do think the work of this group should be.
I absolutely agree.
Just as an FYI, the next full board meeting
It's December, no?
is December 9th, and that meeting will be held on Hillhead.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's just to let you know.
We can recognize people electronically.
Yes.
Let's see if it'll go through.
the case for.
Madam Chair.
Oh, excuse me, yeah, I'm still trying to send text messages and get from it. All right, are there any future topics that we want to have for our next? Dr. Stratus.
One is to recognize just on for bylaws. I just want to share that the board fully approved the motion. So it's not technically a future topic, it's just information
Okay.
on the 2 days about the attendance absences. So I wanted to share that, so that update to our bylaws. So I think bringing that forward, just a completed bylaw back to the table
Okay.
would be respected, and we could bring maybe some of the information that we asked today, additional input from the teachers.
I have that.
I think that would probably, is that okay? So we'll have an updated hard copy of the bylaw. And then additional.
topics.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Anything else from anybody?
No, I just actually hadn't really read all of the last month since I wasn't here, and I was looking at last month's action, and I wasn't sure what this traffic proof AC is.
That's the Gavin's Law, Aaron's Law.
That's what that is.
That's the programming we're using for the high schools
Mhm.
through the Attorney General's office. It's a brand new program that they put together. And so we just sort of did an overview of it.
Thank you.
All right.
Are you all meeting in December? Are you meeting in January? When would you want your next meeting?
Necessary, when
Or just call it when it's
If
available?
there's
You
something
have
that
something
we
till
need
latter
to-
part of January? Because I know teachers are gonna be, September has EOCs, September has semester
I mean,
exams.
December.
December.
Yeah, I mean, yes, December, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so January,
January would be great.
so.
Um. So that would be the 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th.
It would be the,
19th is Dr. King Day, so.
it would be the 26th.
Okay,
1, 2, 3. You usually meet, you try to meet on the last
okay.
Monday of the month.
January
Tentatively,
26th.
that's tentatively. So that next meeting would be January 26th, if that's fine with you all.
Karen, I'm never gonna look at a calendar and talk at the same time again. I kept reading September.
At least it's the right one. I used to have the wrong one on the wall, and we'd look at it, we'd like. All right, so if nothing else, we can adjourn by unanimous consent. All right, thank you guys, everybody.